A group of Palestinian terrorists piloted an armed drone into Israel from the Gaza Strip on Saturday, the army said in a statement. The Israel Defense Forces said the drone left an explosive device near the security fence along the border before returning to Gaza. It said a military vehicle was lightly damaged in the incident. Get the Times of Israel's daily edition by email and never miss our top stories. Free sign up. The IDF said it opened fire at the cell responsible for the drone. No Israeli soldiers were hurt and there were no immediate reports of Palestinian injuries. 11:40. pic.twitter.com/fmutg62c Orhella at Orhella, September 7, 2019. Last month, the IDF said it thwarted an Iranian plot to fly kamikaze explosives-laden drones at Israeli territory from Syria. Saturday's incident came after Israeli forces attacked several military targets belonging to the Gaza terror group earlier in the day in response to rocket fire from Gaza. The IDF said it had identified 5 projectiles that had crossed the border into Israeli territory. The launchers set off rocket sirens in the town of Sderot and the communities of Ibim and Kibbutz Ohana. There were no reported injuries. The ENA news site said 2 women were being treated for shock. At least one rocket hit an open area outside Sderot and started a small fire, Hebrew media reported. At Orhella, pic.twitter.com/hkcoxoev9313 at News Israel 13, September 6, 2019. Security camera footage reportedly from Sderot showed an explosion in the distance and city residents stopping their cars to run for cover. The exchange of fire came hours after 2 Palestinian teens were reportedly killed in clashes with Israeli troops along the border between the Gaza Strip and Israel, in what the IDF called especially violent riots. The Hamas-run health ministry identified one of those killed as 17-year-old Ali al-Ashqa. It said he was shot in the neck in the northern Gaza Strip. A second teenager was shot in the stomach east of Gaza City, the ministry said, later identifying him as Khalid al-Rabi, 14. The IDF had no immediate comment on the deaths but said some 6,200 Palestinians took part in the weekly March of Return, including hundreds that rioted. The riots were especially violent and included the throwing of a large number of explosive devices, hand grenades and firebombs at the fence and IDF soldiers, the army said, adding that there were extensive attempts to damage the border barrier. During the clashes, Israeli soldiers arrested 2 Palestinians who tried to enter Israel from northern Gaza, the IDF said. The suspects were not armed and following their arrest were taken in for further questioning, the army said. A spokesman for Hamas, the terror group that rules Gaza, blamed Israel for the Palestinians' deaths and warned of a possible response. Israel will bear the consequences for this crime, the Kan public broadcaster quoted Hazem Qassem saying. The United Nations Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process, Nikolay Mladenov, weighed in on the protests on Friday, criticizing Israel for the killing of the 2 protesters in a Twitter post.
2.
Protests must be peaceful. The cycle of violence must end. Mladenov wrote. Palestinian protesters clash with Israeli troops along the Gaza border near Gaza City, September 6, 2019. Hassan Jedi, Flash 90. The deadly clashes came just days after Israel lifted restrictions on fuel deliveries to Gaza, a week after curbing them by half due to rocket and mortar fire from the coastal enclave. Israel has responded to the violence with airstrikes in Gaza on Hamas targets, in keeping with its policy of holding the terror group responsible for any attacks emanating from territory under its control. Since the outbreak of protests on the Gaza border last year, Israel has intermittently taken a number of steps to curb outbreaks of violence from the coastal territory, such as closing border crossings, cutting fuel shipments and reducing the permitted fishing area off the coast of the Strip. It has rolled back such moves following decreases in violence. A deal was brokered several months ago by UN and Egyptian officials to end several violent flare-ups in recent months between Israel and Hamas, which have fought 3 devastating wars since 2008, and to help stabilize the territory and prevent a humanitarian collapse. Let's block ads. Why?